Hi gang. So let's look at 511. Now, I've gone through and tested and debugged this, and we're going to go walk through it step by step. And here's what our outputs and inputs are going to look like over here on the right. We prompt the user to enter the lowest tip rate, to enter a rate, highest tip rate, lowest dinner value, highest dinner value. From that, this table will be generated. And we set whatever the low end was, which 0.10 was the number I chose, and went all the way up to 0.25. We've got a step value, we'll talk about here in a little bit, of 0.05. So it'll increase by 0.05. We select the low range to the high range, and we increment by another step of $10 for each level. And then for each one of those levels, we'll calculate what the tip percentage would be, or the correct tip. So let's go through the code. So we start out, we declare a number of doubles. I could have gone through and done these all in one line, but I like trying to keep things separated. Keeps it clearer for me at times. We've got our input string, and this is something we've dealt with over and over again. I may change the name from time to time, but in this one I just said input. We've got three values that are our steps or our field size. So the first one is our step of 0.05, and that is the difference between each level of tip and the percentage. The next one is the dinner step, and that's the difference in price between each level. So it goes from 12 to 22 to 32 on up, depending on what our max is and what our min is. And then we've got a field size, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So in this next section here, we bring in each one of those values in as input, and then we convert them to whatever the appropriate data format is, data type, and then we store it in a variable. So we've got what we set was low rate, low dinner, high dinner. And then we create a for loop. Now it's something we've done before, but this one's a little bit different. And it's written in a way that we set tip rate to be equivalent to whatever the low rate is. And as long as tip rate is below or equivalent to the highest rate, so from the lowest to the highest, we will increase tip rate by that step of 0.05. We'll go through. We have our index of 0 for tip rate. Here we go. You see to the right there. So we output price, and then each one of those, we've got 8 spaces after the output, and that gets us right where we need to be to have a nice little format there. So we get right line, brings us down to the next line, and we have it go through and put those underscores to have a dashed line. And that's what took place right here. Okay. From there, we set tip rate to be equivalent to low rate. Dinner rate is low dinner, or dinner price is low dinner. And we're going to say while dinner price is less than or equal to high dinner, let's go through this loop. And we'll go ahead and write out dinner price, convert it to currency string, put 8 spaces after it, and then after that, we'll move to the right and put in each one of the appropriate tips. So we'll calculate what the tip is. It's dinner price times tip rate. So that'll get us through it, step by step by step, populating each one of these values. It gets kind of tricky trying to manage where we are on the page. And that's where we'll go through these things step by step and nesting them and keeping the white space. I like I said in the previous videos, get used to putting comments in, and it helps you keep things in order and keeps track of what you've got going on. Okay? So that's all this does is goes through and builds this table out for us. Spacing is a big deal, and how it gets laid out is a big deal. But sometimes it's just a little bit of trial and error to see what it's going to take for it to lay out on the output screen the way you want it to lay out. Okay? So I'll see you in the next video.